lads and ladies, welcome back to Lily White Lane. Hope you're all okay, hope you're all doing well, and today I'm going to be bringing you my match preview for Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur, the game that does take place Saturday evening, 5 PM UK time kickoff at the Etihad Stadium. But before we get into all of that, make sure if you're new here to smash that subscribe button, hit the like button as hard as you possibly can, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. Without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Yes guys, what's happening? I'm Billy Wingrove from the F2 and you're watching Lily White Lane. Come on you Spurs!
So Tottenham Hotspur are set to take on Manchester City on Saturday evening, and honestly, it's a game that I'm not really looking forward to. I head into every game with positivity, but it's honestly becoming hard to become positive with the form that Tottenham Hotspur are on right now. But I think I would definitely be happy with the draw out of this one. So we'll get on to some of the team news in a minute. There's a lot of news to cover this morning about the game. And as I say, I'm really looking forward to it. When it comes to score prediction, I'm going to go out there and say it now. I'm going to say a 1-0. Tottenham 1, Manchester City 1. And I would definitely take that. I think we need to go and grab a goal early. We need to go for that goal early. And then we need to sit back the entire game. If we concede, it's fine. But sit back the entire game, okay? Because I would definitely take a draw in this one. Because you've got to look at it from a standpoint as Manchester City, top of the table, Manchester City, the best team in the league, Manchester City, playing at home against Tottenham Hotspur, arguably the worst form in the league. And I'm not even joking when I say that. We have one of the worst forms in the league currently. So it's one of those games that honestly, it could go either way, because we all know how shocking the Premier League can be sometimes, and we all know Tottenham love a 2-0 win against Manchester City. Do I think we'll get a 2-0 win here? No, it'd be an absolute miracle. It'd be the biggest miracle since Jesus. But if we did get a 2-0 win, then trust me when I say the partying will continue into Saturday night. But I don't think we'll get a 2-0 win. I'd absolutely love a win. I don't care how it comes in this game. But definitely take a draw for me. Definitely take a draw. And I think other Tottenham fans need to accept that the form we're on right now, the players that we got right now, the rebuild that Tottenham Hotspur need, the magnitude of this rebuild that this club needs is absolutely huge. So we need to take a draw from this one, try and win some of our smaller games, take a draw from some of the bigger clubs. Exactly what Manchester United have done, right? And I hate giving praise to Manchester United, but what they did, right, they realised they weren't the greatest at playing the biggest sides. So they went for a 0-0 draw. They got it against Chelsea. They got it against City. They got it against Liverpool. And then they win all of their other games, hence the fact they're second and were top of the league a couple of weeks ago. So it's one of those seasons that's absolutely mad. But I think this game is so crucial. And honestly, if we lose this, I don't think we'll get Champions League football. I'm going to go out there and say it. If we lose this game, we're not getting Champions League football this season. And honestly, it all depends on how we lose this game if we lose it. Because if we lose it 1-0 with a great fight, or if we lose it 5-4 like the Everton game, which I highly doubt, and play attacking football, I think fans will accept that a little more. But if we lose this by about 3 or 4 goals, the Jose Out Brigade will be running wild. And I look at it from a standpoint as you cannot blame a manager for our recent form. He's not on the pitch. He's not putting the ball in the back of the net. He's not putting in the slides. He's not putting in the slide tackle challenges, is he? He's on the sidelines and he's ordering the tactics and he's giving the instructions, right? The instructions were in that game to sit back and attack. Sit back and attack. Sit back and attack. Hence the fact we got 4 goals. But it's our defence which lets us down against Everton, and that's why we're out of the FA Cup. And I think there's not much more that Jose Mourinho can actually do with his defence. You know, what way can he actually line up to please people? Because when we play defensive football, people get annoyed. When we play attacking football, we lose. People get annoyed. You know, what more can this manager do? People ask him to take out Eric Dyer. He takes out Eric Dyer, yet there's still massive issues in our defence. And I look at it from a standpoint as if we had Skriniar right now, or Milenkovic, or a new centre-half, right? We could have had a new centre-half last summer, but our board capitalised. They said, no, we can get Joe Rodon for 5 million. Jose Mourinho accepted that. And I love Joe Rodon. He's a player that's coming through. He's absolutely fantastic. The Welsh Maldini, I absolutely love him. But we could be sitting here right now with Milan Skriniar. And I think if we were sitting here right now with Milan Skriniar, we'd be talking about Tottenham Hotspur, top of the league and heading into this Manchester City game with loads of confidence. I really do, because the major issue is not up top, it's not in midfield. You know, as much as I love a Sabitzer, that can wait. We need to invest in 2 new centre-halves. One has to be Toby's long-term replacement. We need that, right? Because Toby, what, 33 now, 32? I'm not 100% sure, but he's getting older. And by that age, you sort of want to calm your football down, if that makes sense. Maybe go to a league that's a little smaller, not as much intensity in it. So we're not going to have Toby for that much longer. He might even leave this summer. Same with Hugo Lloris. Hugo Lloris has made it clear. He's made it clear his dream is to go to Paris Saint-Germain, and why would you blame him? You know, he's the French captain, World Cup winner for France, lifted that trophy, and I just think it'd be a fitting end to his career. You know, he served us for 8 years. He's made a lot of mistakes, but he's overdone that with so many magical moments, the likes of Hugo Lloris. You know, an absolutely fantastic shot stopper. I love Lloris, but I look at it as we need to invest more in our youth players. And man, are we investing in our youth players. We've got all these players such as Dane Scarlett who are coming through. Alfie Devine, he's 16 years old and he scored in his debut. Like, he's only a couple years older than me. And that's mental. That's absolutely mental. So I think, like, certain players in this team who are coming through, why don't we actually give them a chance? I get it's Manchester City, right? But I don't think any Tottenham fan actually expects us to win, right? If you expect us to win, I would say change your expectations. Because don't expect us to win this game. Come into this game expecting us to get a draw or a loss, right? Because that's most likely what's going to happen. And a draw is even pushing it right now. Because looking at the betting odds, it's 92% that City are going to beat us. So it's not the greatest odds for Tottenham Hotspur. But as I say, you never know what's going to happen in the Premier League. And we're investing in our youth players, right? We've got the likes of Dane Scarlett, Alfie Devine, all of these guys who are coming through. Why don't we give them a chance, right? And I'm not even joking when I say that. Look at Arsenal, right? And I hate comparing Tottenham to Arsenal. But they've brought in some of their younger players. Saka, you know, no one would have heard of him before this season. He's come in and he's absolutely dominated. Now he's a first team starter and he's pushing for that place and he's getting starts over the likes of Aubameyang. Aubameyang, one of Arsenal's biggest players over the past few years. Even Martinelli, I love that guy. Martinelli, so skillful, can bomb down the wing. All these young players that they've brought in, and it's worked out for them. So why don't we try and do the same thing? Why don't we bring in some of our youth players? And then it's basically do or die. Because if you bring them in, right, and they don't work, you go back to playing our top players. And it's like, unlucky lads, give it a few years. And once you're a little bit older, you'll be able to get those starts. And here's a feel for you, basically, on the pitch. Here's a feel of major time football, honestly. So they can get that feeling of being out in the Etihad playing a massive game, right? When it comes to my predicted lineup, I've chosen Hugo Lloris in goal. In defence, Serge Aurier, Ben Davies at left back and right back. As our 2 centre-halves, I've gone with Joe Rodon and Davinson Sanchez. In midfield, I've gone with Højbjerg and Ndombele in the double pivot with Lamela, Moura, Kane and Son. And I think if we want to go out there and we want to go to the Etihad and get something out of this game, then that is the lineup to choose. And I'll go through every single individual and exactly why, right? Starting off in goal, Hugo Lloris. This one's kind of obvious. Doesn't need much explanation. Hugo's the one to play. Don't expect to see Joe Hart Gazaniga. Moving on to defence, I've chosen Ben Davies, right? And always, and I mean always, I would choose Reguilon because I think Reguilon's the much better of the two. But Davies is more adjustable to playing as a defensive midfielder when he plays. He'll kind of adjusts to that defensive midfielder and kind of sits in front of whoever our 2 centre-halves are. So honestly, I don't think he has the qualities that Reguilon does to, you know, bomb up the pitch, press on, whip a fantastic ball in. But he's a good defender, don't get me wrong. He can put in some fantastic tackles, defend well, and honestly press high with the team. So I do think Davies does start at left back. As of our 2 centre-halves, Sanchez and Rodon. Now, these are 2 controversial ones, right? Toby Alderweireld, I love Toby Alderweireld, and I want him to get a start. I want him to get loads of starts. But his performance against Everton simply wasn't good enough. He wasn't good as a centre-half. He kept on letting them get past him. He kept on letting Richarlison and all the Everton players run onto him. It simply wasn't good enough. And I think leaving Toby out for this game is the right thing to do. And Rodon's been out for quite a while, actually. And I think bringing him back into the team, he'll be motivated. He'll have confidence. And in a massive game, we all saw how he excelled when we brought him to Chelsea in that massive game. He excelled. He done well. And I think he starts in this game against Manchester City. As of our other centre-half, I have gone with Sanchez. Now, this one was definitely between Sanchez, Toby and Dyer. I rule Dyer out straight away. I don't think he's good enough for Tottenham Hotspur. I've said it many occasions. And it's between Toby and Sanchez. But you've got to look at it as well as Sanchez was probably one of our best players on the pitch on Wednesday. And I'm not even joking, because he was so good. He looked like he constantly wanted to actually put the ball in the back of the net. Much more attacking minded, honestly. And he actually sat back and didn't make many individual errors. He made a bad individual error and gave the ball straight away, but it didn't concede us a goal. That was partially down to Toby and Doherty. So I think Sanchez is the right person to play after his fantastic performance midweek. You know, getting a brace as a centre-half is something that doesn't happen often. And we scored from 2 corners. Sonny got 3 assists midweek. People forget that. Sonny got 3 assists. Although he didn't score, he got 3 assists. Goals, 2 from Sanchez, 1 from Kane and 1 from Lamela. And I'll get to Lamela in a bit because he definitely starts in this game. But as of right back, it's between Serge Aurier and Doherty. Unless you want to play Doherty kind of as a left wing back, I've chosen Serge Aurier because for me, he's the much better of the two. Although he concedes a lot of fouls and penalties and free kicks, I think he's the right person to start in this game. As of midfield, Ndombele and Hotspur is a pretty obvious one. And honestly, Ndombele's looked a little lazy the past few games. I'm not going to lie, right? I'm a huge Ndombele fan. If you want anybody to praise Ndombele, come up to me and ask me, because I will praise him for everything. I love him. Everyone remembers that goal against Sheffield a couple of weeks ago. But ever since he scored that goal against Sheffield, he just went downhill. And every single time he gets on the ball, he just looks a little lazy. So if you tackle him down to the ground, he's going to stay on that ground no matter the score for about 5 minutes. He's a bit of a melt. I'm not even going to lie. He's a little bit of a melt. So I think he has to start in this game, though, because we still need that creativity from midfield. We still need goals from midfield. And Tanguy Ndombele scores goals from midfield, and he's creative from midfield. So Tanguy starts in this game, and Hotspur as well, right? A lot of people calling out Hotspur for his midweek performance. It wasn't good enough, and I think it's right to call him out. But you can't call him out for that, because he's one of those players who will beat himself up about it. Hotspur is one of those players who will beat himself up about that performance, and he'll want to come out, and he'll want to be a general, and he'll want to be absolutely fantastic. Because that's what he does. He cares about Tottenham Hotspur. He's a future manager in the making. He's a general, the warrior, the Viking himself. He's absolutely fantastic. Such a good defensive midfielder. My favourite player at Tottenham Hotspur right now. It's out there. I've said it. Hotspur is my favourite player in the Premier League at Tottenham Hotspur in the world right now, because he's so good at what he does. Yet he makes 2 little slip-ups, which would literally just give him the ball away. Sadly, both of them did end up in goals. But that wasn't him. That was our defence from not being adjustable to actually stopping the ball going past them and leaving Hugo with a 1-on-1. And I don't think Hugo was good enough. But the reason he kind of conceded 5 goals was because of the likes of Winks. And you've got to remember, Winks only came on with 30 minutes to go. So Tanguy Ndombele and Hotspur for me in the double pivot is the right two to go for. Sorry about that, I've got a nasty cold, I'm still trying to get over it. But up top, I've gone with Kane, Sonny, Lamela and Moura. Kind of having 2 up top there, and then you can kind of have Moura and Lamela as a right mid and a left mid. And I've gone with this because I think, right, I'll start off with Lamela. Lamela's so motivated. He wants to give it his all every single time he steps onto the pitch, right? I love Lamela. Sometimes he can go onto the pitch and run around like a headless chicken. But recently, he's been on form. He's been one of our best players. So he starts for me. Because in these past few performances, you know, even though we did lose 5-4 to Everton, those 4 goals partially come from Lamela and Sonny. They all do. The creativity to pass the ball through, the assists come from Lamela and Sonny, and Lamela got another goal for himself. Lamela's so good. We all saw his performance on the weekend against West Brom, right? And you can't judge him off that because that is West Bromwich Albion with Big Sam. But his performance there was outstanding, and I'm not even going to lie, it was brilliant. And sometimes you can bring him on and he's absolutely fantastic, but sometimes you can bring him on and he just runs around like a headless chicken. But no matter what he comes on and does, he wants to give it his all. Every single time he steps foot on that pitch, he wants to give it his all. He's motivated, and I love him for that love. So, without a doubt for me, Lamela starts in this game. But as of up top, Kane and Sonny is pretty obvious. And then Moura as well, he's looked decent in our past few games. Nevertheless, this has been the video, guys. Thank you all for watching, and as always, come on you Spurs!